one board, 2 tools, and a quick disclaimer about the arsenic found in candy. 4 finished products in under 1 hour, putting more money in your pocket than a full 8-hour day at minimum wage. 2 tips when making cuts with your jigsaw. Put a couple pieces of insulation foam on your workbench so you can comfortably cut and maneuver the pieces instead of trying to dangle them over the side. And when you're making your cut, if your blade starts to go off the line, don't push it back to where it needs to be, because all you're doing is flexing your blade. You're not going to have a nice straight 90-degree cut. Instead, drive it from the back. Measure and cut 2 pieces at 7 inches. I'm using a 12 TPI, or teeth per inch, jigsaw blade, which cuts the wood fast and leaves it clean without very much tear out. 1 at 3.5 inches, and 1 at 2.25 inches. Sand your pieces with 120 grit sandpaper to remove any burrs or tear out you might have acquired. 4 pieces is all you're going to need. 3.5 inch base, 7 inch back, 7 inch front, and 2.25 inch top. Now I need to take these 2 7 inch pieces and cut them down by 1/2 inch so that they're 5 inches wide, not 5.5. Set your square to 1/2 inch, make a mark at the bottom and the top, and then connect those lines together. You might be thinking to yourself, hey ding dong, this thing's 90 degrees. Just put it on your board and carry on with your day. My response would be that my name's not Ding Dong, and if you made this cut with your jigsaw not at 90, this line's not going to be 90 either. Since our cut is close to the edge of the board, I like to use the other board as a support for the base to keep my jigsaw perfectly upright. Now we need to add some markings to the back and the front. The back is super simple, 45-degree angle from the corner. And we just need to mark where they intersect. We don't need to draw a line on the entire board. And in those crosshairs, I'm drilling a 3/8 inch hole, about 1/2 inch down. I do not want it to go all the way through the back. On the front, you're going to make a mark at 3/4 inch on both sides. My hands are getting in the way, I know they are. And using those markings, draw 2 parallel lines from the top to the bottom of your board. Now we repeat that 45-degree step from the back, starting in the corner. We're not starting at the mark. And we're going to go all the way to our other mark on the other side. And your board should now look like this. 2 3/4 inch lines parallel, and from each corner, a 45-degree line coming up to where it intersects that 3/4 at the top. Using a 2.5 inch hole saw, position the pilot where those lines intersect and cut that section out. I like to cut halfway into my material, flip my board, and then finish out my cut. This makes the core easier to remove and prevents the hole saw from exploding the back of my board. Who guessed we were building a birdhouse? You were wrong. With our center hole cut out, and look at, no tear out. Ooh! We need to cut out these darker lines. I put some arrows to help you. This says waste, it blurred together. I'm going to run my jigsaw from the edge to this little corner. Then I'm going to come in the center and run it to the corner, from the top in. This helps to keep those angles crisp and clean. If you're using a bandsaw, you're just going to charge your way into the center, since you can't start in the center with a bandsaw. And give all your pieces one more final sanding. We need to drill a 1 inch hole into our 2.5 inch core. The easiest way for me to describe this is to divide from the center to the edge into thirds, so 1, 2, and 3. And on that first tick mark, that is where we are going to be drilling with our Forstner bit. Now the Forstner bit is not going to make a perfect circle. It's going to be kind of hanging out over the side. That can be a little dangerous. That's why we just threw it into a clamp, or you can drill an equal size hole into the styrofoam and just plop your piece into it. As I'm drilling down, we don't want it to just catch and go wherever it wants. We want to have a little bit of control. Then you want to sand just the little pointy sections off. Take one of your funky shapes and add a couple drops of super glue onto the back of it. Just a couple, not a whole lot. And position it at the edge of your board in line with your circle. And repeat those steps for your other piece. Then I just fire a couple pin nails. Whoa, another tool! Fire a couple 1 inch pin nails into the back. Long time no see. Pin nails are a little different than brad nails, alright, because they don't have a head. Brad nails, you have that larger head on the top. Pin nails fire in and leave a small little dot on your project. You barely know they're there. Then we'll position the center core where it's going to go. We're going to put our piece of plexiglass on the top of our project. This piece of plexiglass is 100% the reason it is 5 inches wide, 7 inches tall. These little cheap acrylic plexiglass pieces They're really supposed to be used for picture frames. They're super cheap on Amazon. You buy them in a big pack. And when I had first seen this project, it was actually on Kreg's Free Plans website. But Kreg's version is very tall. You'd have to have a custom piece of plexiglass cut down. They're using a thicker 1/4 inch. And those sheets are like 60 bucks. It eats all of your profit away, unless you're making this project just for funsies for you at home. And when I was looking this project up, Etsy was like, oh, hey, look over here. You can buy the plans. They're kind of cheap. I was like, well, they're free on Kreg's website. And you're using the exact same pictures of the Kregs. Back on task, you're going to take a Sharpie. You're going to draw in those lines and follow the sides just like this. This top piece, I actually like to just take a straight edge and just trace them in afterwards. I'm using a razor blade on a piece of wood. You can try to cut the plexiglass out on top of the styrofoam, but because the styrofoam has some give, it's liable to crack this kind of cheap plexiglass. So I like to put pressure with my thumb, pressure with my finger, and I'll put some closer to the blade, and I just run it down. Same with this. Careful, because as you're going, it might want to go like that, and you're going to cut into pieces you don't want to cut into. Repeat for this other side. You should feel it kind of click down into the groove that you've just made. Just like that, and then you give it a gentle little bendy twisty. There you have it. Now when you put this back on here, you have the cutout for the candy to fall through. And with our plexiglass perfectly in place, 1/8 inch drill bit, I'm just going to center it. I'm going to eyeball it. There are markings on the plans. You want to drill out the screw spots for your plexiglass, because if you just drove the screws in, it's going to explode this, again, cheap piece of plexiglass. And then mark the center of that core cutout, and using a 1/4 inch diameter bit, drill out your marking. According to the FDA and WHO, one theater-sized box of Nerds contains more arsenic than what a child should consume in one entire year. And they'll shovel that entire box into their gullet before the movie even starts. Your drinking water at home is only allowed to have 10 parts per billion, yet Nerds gummy clusters is at 500 parts per billion. 8 out of 10 that were tested had far surpassed those toxic levels. Call somebody, anybody. With those pieces still in a neat little stack, take your 1/4 inch dowel with the sticker at the top and stick them down inside of the hole. And it should go all the way down past your center cutout into the base. Everything's stacked up nice and neat. Take a flush cut saw or any little saw. You're going to saw off about 1/4 inch up from the marking. If you're wondering why my fingers are so close, because I use this saw to cut carbon fiber, and now it barely cuts wood. To make a fancy handle, take that 1/2 inch cutoff piece, cut 2 pieces, find the center, corner to corner, and use that 1/4 inch bit to go 2/3 into your material. We don't want it poking out the top. You're going to take just a dot of super glue, put it inside of this cap space, and then you're going to just kind of squash it down on there. But you don't want it to touch the plexiglass. It's going to add too much resistance. And I also like it to be centered with this. So it's flat, so you can see all of this. If it was turned, you wouldn't be able to see the little spinny part, and that's a lot less fun. As it dries, give it a couple courtesy little twists, just so it doesn't dry to that plexiglass. That's going to ruin all your work. I use 3/4 inch long Kreg screws. I like the look of them and always have them on hand. Feel free to pick up any 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch screw. Be careful not to crack your plexiglass during installation. Then take that other 1/2 inch cutoff, set it in this top groove, make a mark, cut it off. Then lay out your top board, take that smaller piece, put it inside that little groove, add some super glue, and then position it so it is centered on top of our top. And after a few seconds, it's secured into place. You can add some more pin nails if you want. And it's the same steps for our base. Add a few dots of super glue. Be generous because it's an end grain glue up. Then position it at the back so it matches the spacing that you used at the top. After a few seconds dry time, you can really give that nail counter a run for its money. You want some help finishing that one so it can be in the video with the rest of them? Or, all right, whoa, geesh, you got it. He's mad because I won't go outside and go get him any corn feed to fill one of these up because it's pouring down rain. You go outside and get it. In case you guys are scratching your heads, what we built are little candy dispensers. Ta-da! If you follow the video tutorial to a T, you'll end up with one that looks like this. This guy here, it has a larger spot for storage of the candy, but a smaller dispensing area. Same 2.5. All I did was, instead of starting at the corners for those 45s, I moved them in 3/4 of an inch at the bottom, so I don't have that little drop down space. It gives you a little bit more space for candy, a little less space for it to come out. This guy here, I just didn't cut down the main body to 5 inches. So the top and the base, they do not protrude out a little bit. Gives a little bit of character, I think. So this is all the same size. Everything else are the same steps. It's just 5.5 inch is what I left it at. And your plexiglass sticks in just a little bit. It doesn't hug, the sides nice. It is what it is. I like it at the 5-inch wide. Makes it look a little bit more professional. You do you. This guy here is made out of a little bit thicker black walnut. I used a round over bit to do all of the edges on the top and bottom pieces and the back of the back. I also used the router and made a little bit of a tray so that when you spun it around, your candy doesn't go all over the place. It has a brass 1/4 inch dowel which drilled all the way through the handle so you could see it. I wish I had some brass hardware to match. Might have to pick some up. I stained this one with Minwax Natural. That's why it doesn't have any candy in it yet. These guys, once I had finished assembly, I blew them out with the air hose and they are good to go. I'm not going to add a stain to these. This one, I wanted to add a stain, show you guys. If you're going to add a stain, it has to be done before you put the plexiglass front on. And since that was only a day ago, I still have to wait because I can't put any candy in it. The problem's not that the stain's going to soak into the candy and it's going to get people sick. The problem I have with it is that the candy is going to stain my project. So, no candy in this one quite yet. If you stain these projects and dump in a bunch of M&Ms, all of the coatings begin to just soak into the wood and it looks horrible. If you're going to stain your project, you have to wait a good week at least for it to dry, and it's not fully cured for 30 days. And that's when you sell it and put candy in there. All stains and finishes are technically food grade safe once the dryers and conditioners have had time to fully cure on your project. And that's what sets these two cans apart. This is the dryers and conditioners. The Minwax takes up to 30 days for those to dry, and this Butcher Block can only takes about 72 hours. In the video's description, you'll find a fully itemized list to how I got to that final cost, being $2.41 for each candy dispenser, or $9.62 for the set of 4. Using only a single 1x6x8, you're able to get 4 finished products from that one board. It takes me about 15 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on what I'm listening to and what my hustle is, to get these projects knocked out, so about an hour's worth of time. I'm selling them for $28 each. It's $112 minus our $9.62 gets you $102.38 in your pocket. You can sell them at local or craft events by just setting up a booth. You could also list them on Facebook Marketplace and get a couple hits. Otherwise, these are easy to ship if you wanted to list them on Etsy or another online marketplace and sell and ship the product to your customers. That 1 hour time mentioned earlier is just that, production time. It doesn't take into account you taking photos, making a listing, putting it online, setting up at a craft booth, sitting at the craft booth, paying somebody that you kind of know that wandered by to go get you some food because you're at the booth by yourself today, so you really can't go to the food truck to get yourself something because you can't leave all your stuff sitting there on its own. That doesn't take into account any of that. It is just production time. Wait, can we relabel it production time? That might help people actually. Wonderful. There you have it, a fun little candy dispenser. Make some for you, make some for your friends, sell a couple online. Sell some to your friends. They should be supporting your business. Just don't give everything to them for free. If you like the ones that are standing here in front of me, head on over to whosdeboss.com for free downloadable plans to everything that we make here on the channel. So I don't believe that Between You and I should be a payment platform. And if you wanted to make one that was a little bit taller, you will have to buy your own plexiglass to put into that one. But that's available at the Kreg's website at kreg.com. I don't know what the website is. It's in the description. That's a picture of it. Do not buy it on Etsy. You don't need to buy the plans. Kreg has them for free. We have another model right here for free. Don't go to Etsy and buy the plans. You don't need to put it on the charger. Just turn it off so that way it's not draining the battery. I just got to fill these two up and then we can move on. Are you kidding me? What am I supposed to do with 6 M&Ms?